먹칠하게는 만들면 안 되잖니. 네.
We don't give a damn about your son.
어머니 오늘 늦으셨네요.
No offense, but yes. Hello and welcome back to Actually Let's Talk About It with me, your host Lily. And today I will be reacting to Dr. Cha episode 7. So we are going to see what Dr. Kim has to tell Dr. Cha. She is kind of putting two and two together, connecting all the dots and realizing that her husband is not only stepping out on her, his first love or whoever she is at the hospital, but they also have a daughter. And she was like trying to run away from the truth. She did not want to go home. And then all of a sudden, fine ass surgeon, aka Dr. Kim, came through, caught her before she fell. But she would have fell quite tragically, quite horribly. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it looked like that fall was gonna hurt our good sis. But luckily he was right there to catch her and he had something to tell her. And then that's where it left off. So we're gonna continue right to the point. But before that, we are gonna give a big patron shout out to, once again, Keisha L. Thank you so much for being a patron. Your support is so greatly appreciated. And I will continue to bring more and more content to the patrons. And also, as an update for the people on Patreon, Black Knight is a K-drama series that is premiering this Friday. And I'm going to make sure that I am up to date on all the episodes so that y'all will be getting that content. That is going to be another K-drama I will be reacting to. And there's another one that's on Netflix as well. And another one that's not on Netflix that's on this streaming service that I use called Viki. And I will be reacting to that one too. It has the actor named Woo Do-won in it, and I really like him as an actor. So we'll be getting into that one as well. It'll just take a little bit of time because I want to catch up with Dr. Cha and then do the Unseen, and then we'll get into the Woo Do-won drama and then also Black Knight going towards the weekend. That's kind of like the rough schedule for the patrons out there. And then if you are watching this on YouTube, do not forget to give it a good thumbs up because it helps the algorithm, helps it get out to more people. And also, don't forget to subscribe because we are on the way to 1,000 subscribers. And yes, it's going to be quite an event. And also comment if you would like to comment about your reactions to Dr. Cha, the series, this episode, or just the series so far and what you think might happen. But without further ado, we are going to get straight into the reaction for Dr. Cha episode 7. Because I'm so excited to see what exactly Dr. Kim has to tell her. Is it about her husband or is it about something else? I don't know. So let's get into that.
아니, 이 아심한 시각에 무슨 급한 일이 있길래 남의 며느리 붙들고 계시나? 그게 아니고요.
I mean, if you knew all that your daughter was, if she knew all that her son was doing, and the adultery, the debauchery, and the illegitimate child that came out of it, she would have no words for this man slightly touching her daughter-in-law after he saved her from quite a nasty fall she would have had. But I digress. She's thinking about, decorum and what people will say. Like, people don't really matter because you don't know them. But okay.
제 간이식 수술에 먹칠하게는 만들면 안 되잖니. 네.
We don't give a damn about your son.
어머니 오늘 늦으셨네요.
No offense, but yes. Says the adulterer, like, he doesn't understand his own hypocrisy. How can you be mad at your daughter for lying to you about something as trivial as medical school? You know how much money artists earn? We're in the age to where so many people could be exposed to whatever art she's doing. And she could literally make millions off of it just from being an influencer in Korea. She can make millions in won and USD off of that if she truly has a talent. And you want her to be a doctor and at most she might get 6 figures? Eventually, not right away, eventually she'll get 6 figures, possibly, if South Korea pays that much for doctors, depending on what type of doctor she'll be, possibly. And then you have to remember, as a doctor, you have like so much liability on you. Like, a patient can sue you for malpractice if you do something wrong. Even if it was an innocent mistake, there's always that liability that you could be sued for the work that you do on someone as a doctor. And that's a lot of responsibility to want to take on. And her not wanting to be a doctor, isn't stopping anything because your firstborn son, which, you know, has so much status in Asian and African countries, is a doctor. So 1 out of 2 kids being a doctor is perfectly fine. The legacy will continue with him. I don't understand why this man is mad. Like, he isn't making any sense. And then on top of that, to say, oh, you were deceiving your whole family. Like, you don't have a whole illegitimate child and a whole mistress that nobody else knows about but you and Dr. Kim. You need to check yourself. And I wouldn't let my husband think that he could do that and try to lord himself over our kids to where you think that you could tell them what's better for them. Because if you become a doctor and you hate being a doctor and you just became a doctor because your parents made you, you're not going to be a good doctor. So it's better for her to be a great artist than to be a bad doctor because her heart isn't in it. So, you know, and people have had experiences with doctors who literally were forced to be doctors. And you see how the humanity that they do not have because they hate their job. So, you know, there's that. That's so mean.
나 밥 먹여줘서 너무너무 고마워.
Yep. Because you ain't gonna mess with her daughter's dream. He is so immature. And she even cleaned it for her. Yeah. And she taped it back together. Come on.
우리 같은 직장에서 일 못해.
He's such a hypocrite. But girl, you on to something. Keep on. Keep on it. Keep on it. Because he's deflecting. That's what liars do.
어쩌면 식구들 중에 걱정하는 말 한마디 해주는 이가 없어.
But
죄송해요.
hold on, this might work out because she needs money for her daughter's art school. And her mother-in-law was trying to get a loan off of the house that is somehow in Dr. Cha's name. So this might be beneficial for both of them. They can both go down to the bank now, get the loan approved, and have more than enough money to support what they both want to do. So that can actually work. Okay, that's good.
근데 미안할 게 뭐 있어. 남편이 사다 줘서 장소는 모르겠는데. 아, 남편이 사다 주셨구나.
You ain't married to that man. You the mistress. I thought he heard a quit playing.
되는 말씀이세요. 무슨 그? 아, 그 젊은 교수가 미쳤어요. 애 엄마를 좋아해.
Oh. Okay, I know. I was like, oh, maybe she do love her. I don't know. She was just saying that because she knows that he likes her daughter-in-law. And that is so funny how everybody around Dr. Cha is realizing that this man loves her. And he knows it too. I love that. And now she's telling her son about it. And he gonna act way different. I already feel it. This husband's gonna start to care about Dr. Cha now that he knows that there's somebody younger and better suited for her than him. That's looking at her in a romantic way. That would be a take either way.
엄마한테 내가 소중한
And I think people
것처럼
forget that when a woman is pregnant, her life is at stake through that whole entire pregnancy. And it's become such a casual thing in society to just be like, oh yeah, pregnancy is what women are supposed to do. It helps populate the planet, helps contribute to society. But they never put an emphasis on the mental and physical and health toll that pregnancy can take on you. Like, it wasn't until I was further into my 20s, because I'm like very close. I'm closer to 30 than I am to 20. Let me just put it that way. And so it wasn't until I was in my mid-20s that I figured out how many health risks are associated with pregnancy. And the way it had been so normalized in terms of biology. I took like AP biology in college, and in human anatomy and psychology. And the way that it's not emphasized how crazily your body can change, how your mental state can change, how your physical health can be in jeopardy because of pregnancy. And it's not mainstream enough, but yet it's always encouraged that women have more children, or it's encouraged that you don't abort children and things like that, specifically in the States. It's really crazy. But I can respect, I guess. I don't think it's wisdom, but I can respect the fact that she wants to have the baby. Maybe they could possibly induce her labor or do an emergency C-section and remove the child, and then she can deliver the baby that way. She doesn't have to deliver the baby vaginally, and then they can operate on her maybe at that time after that. But that would be the best option. I don't know why he said terminate the pregnancy, but they should be able to do an emergency C-section, and then she could get her treatment for what's going on with her other part of her body. This is so odd. But she said, the way she was looking at that man in last episode, the young actor is definitely the father of the baby, but he hasn't showed up to the hospital not one time.
내 아기 부동산이 없는데 어떻게 부동산 담보대출이 있을 수가 있어요?
경기도에 고객님 명의의 건물이 있는데요.
특강비? 응. 학원에 특강비 입금했어.
Yay!
무슨 돈으로? 아빠가 줬으면 너는 그런 것까지 알 필요 없고.
Your son's watch.
있으세요? 네. 있는데요, 왜요? 그게 누군데요?
Ma'am.
이상하면서 내가 왜 꼭 추궁당하는 기분이 들죠?
나갈 대로 나간 사이로구나. 저놈이 날 닮았어.
Why did she say they've already gone as far as they can go? That punk takes after me. Is she trying to say that she was a little bit quick in the relationships? I need her to stop. Because I get it, because she was around his age when she got pregnant. Okay, so I get her concern here. I get her concern because he's the firstborn, she was the firstborn, and she got pregnant around his age, and he's around her age, and he has a... You know what? I get her concern now. I didn't get it before, but yes. Just make sure you use the protection, honey. That's all you can hope for.
알았는데 실망이 크네요.
Oh, I love his, like, it's giving older hipster.
그럼
That's
내가
cute.
늦었으니까 이거 먼저 드려야겠다. 풀어봐요.
So this man is getting exactly what he deserved. He got a bad shoulder. He got erectile dysfunction. He's balding, and he's performing lackluster at his job. I love it. Like, nobody is on his side, and he's just constantly messing up. I love this for him. Keep on keeping on with what you're doing on the course that you are on, Professor So. Because I want Dr. Cha to leave you broke and alone with your little mistress, and you bruised and battered because your shoulder is stiff. I'm loving this. I'm loving it.
자꾸 살기 싫다고. 막 죽고 싶다고.
Oh
그러다가
no.
무슨 일 생길까봐 무서워요. 에이, 환자분 그런 말 말아요. 죽음을 앞에
I get it
뒀다니
because he's young.
얼마나 절망적인지.
And it's not something you would think that you would have to go through as a younger person.
선생님도 저 같은 병에 안 걸려보셨잖아요. 나는 내가 직장 생활을 할 수 있을지, 결혼 생활을 계속할 수 있을지, 자식을 낳아도 될지, 어떻게 살아야 할지 아무런 확신이 없어요.
선생님, 황성규 환자분이요. 아무래도 우울감이 너무 큰 것 같아서요.
알아요. 와이프가 걱정이 많더라고요.
저 정신과랑 협진할 필요가 있지 않을까요?
크론 병 환자 반 이상이 30대예요.
한창 사회생활 할 나이라 배탈감이 크겠죠. 지금은 수술 직후라 좀 그렇긴 할 텐데 금방 괜찮아질 거예요.
Do you remember the actor from Everybody Hates Chris and Abbott Elementary did mention that he was diagnosed with it. And I didn't know that it could get that severe. So that's something to remember about Crohn's disease, because I didn't know that it could get that severe in young people. I thought it didn't get like that until you were older. So this is interesting that they're pointing this out here. But she needs to take, and it's also interesting how they're pointing it out that the wife said something to her, and then now she, as a first-year resident, is saying something to her. But she's kind of dismissing it, his severe depression, when this could be, it's very, very serious. Because he, like he said, he was on the roof. Y'all. And I got a feeling before this episode is over, he might be on there again. Because he does need a recommendation to the psychiatry department, because the feelings of hopelessness that he has, they are valid. He don't got them for no reason. And somebody need to be there championing for him, because, you know, this is hard to go through, something like this. It ain't no walk in no park. Nobody wants to have to go through something like this when you're young. Even when you're older, it's a lot. So I get what he's saying. Because even though it's genetic, it can skip generations. It can literally, like, the way people don't understand genetics is so baffling, because it's random. There's not really a clear, exact way of understanding genetics, because you can't tell. You can't tell at all. Something can be technically genetic, but it skips generations, or it could even skip genders. And it can skip generations for 100 years. It could skip every generation in that 100-year span. It could skip generations for 1,000 years, and skip every generation in that generations, and every generation that came in that span of time. And then it could hit a generation that had nothing to do with it, you know, like at all. Like, it could just be random. It's not something you can always predict. So it's really rude of them, because, you know, Crohn's disease, it is what it is. And it is sometimes genetic. But the way that they were on their knees, basically saying they don't want their daughter to care for a sick person, when their daughter doesn't mind that she has to care for her sick husband, she loves her husband. She probably most likely knew that he was sick before she got married to him. And it's just evil that when he's already down, he's already severely depressed, and they just come and do this blow. This is just wrong. And people need to be so mindful of what they say, because your words can hurt people. You don't go to somebody who's in the hospital and add more stress to them when he literally just had a failed surgery. You just don't do that. It's just not right. Get him, Dr. Chaw, get him. Hurry, 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 hurry. These two. Young man, you always late. Doctor, get in front of the whole staff. Not a whole hospital. I think something going on with y'all. Because what is this? What is this? Oh my God. Publicly, in front of her husband. Oh, the mess. I'm here. Okay. Like, Dr. Gibb, hats off to this fine ass surgeon. Hats off to him, because that wasn't no joke. Like, she already knew the kid was gonna jump. I don't know how she knew, but she already knew he was gonna do it. I'm glad she called beforehand, because Dr. Child, she would rather die. She was willing to go on ahead and dive right with that patient. Luckily, there was a mat there, because what if it was on the other side? Like, this woman is truly about her patient. She's truly about her profession. She's truly a doctor through and through. Because she didn't care if that meant her life, as long as his was somehow saved. And I'm like, kudos to Dr. Cha. I'm hoping that the patient in the next episode, that he gets his psychiatric care and that they do find a way for him to be able to live life as normally as he possibly can with Crohn's disease, because that's no joke. And, you know, I'm very empathetic and sympathetic when it comes to young people who have like lifelong illnesses or terminal illnesses, because it shouldn't be happening to young people. It shouldn't be happening to anybody, period. But it's different when it happens to older people. It's different when it happens to people who have lived their life. For a large portion of their life has already been lived. It's different when it happens to someone older than when it happens to someone young. You're in your prime in your 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s until you get to that 60, 70 age that you consider older. But, you know, you're in your prime in those years that you shouldn't be going through things like terminal illnesses and, you know, or just lifelong things that you always got to get, you know, your health insurance to pay. And sometimes health insurance don't be paying right if you live in the States. But I think it's different in South Korea because, you know, they got better health care. But that's beside the point. But yeah, you know, so I'm feeling this episode. They put some real stuff on here. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen in the next episode. I feel like Dr. Cha definitely going to have to find out that her husband's stepping out on her, because we're at the halfway mark almost at this point. So she got to find that out next episode. I think that's going to be the next step, you know. But for some reason now, I believe after this, I'll have a feeling that Professor So, aka her cheating ass husband, is going to try to be more, you know, more sensitive to her since she's had this brush with death again. It's her second brush with death. So I have a feeling his attitude gonna change, especially now that Dr. Gim is kind of like let it be known to everybody that, you know, he got some type of romantic inklings for Dr. Cha. So that's where I'm going to leave it here. I ain't going to do no more deductions or no more comments. But if you have stayed until the end of this video, I want to thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to give it a good thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a comment if you would like to. And also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you are watching this on Patreon, once again, thank you so much for being a patron. It is very much appreciated. And I will be back relatively soon with the episode 8 reaction to Dr. Cha. But until then, yeah. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.